Good afternoon. My name is Demiana Naruz, and I will be presenting the topic of inflation, as we know of its prevalence nowadays with the prices all increasing more than usual. Okay, to start off, we're going to talk about petroleum prices and how it's affected and how it has affected most of us recently. Petroleum prices are generally determined by two driving market forces, supply and demand. According to the American Petroleum Institute, oil prices are at all-time high due to factors such as workforce constraints and increasing geopolitical instability in Eastern Europe. The price of crude oil is directly proportional to the amount of consumers pay at the pump. Now, what determines the cost of crude oil? It's impacted by global market fundamentals like inventories and seasonality. Along with that comes the federal and local state taxes, which further add to the price of crude oil. API states the federal excise tax is 18.40%, 40 per gallon, and state gasoline fees and tax range from a low of about 15 CPG in Alaska to as much as 68 CPG in California and around 59 CPG in Illinois and Pennsylvania. In addition, the crude oil refinery to produce gasoline, diesel, and other products incur high costs, though they vary seasonally. Since more people drive in the summer, there's a higher gasoline demand, inflicting higher refinery costs. The last factor that adds to gas prices is its distribution and marketing. These generally include transportation of gasoline through pipelines, trucks, railways, etc., and incur a fee as well. Overall, the cost of crude oil has been the highest since 2014. The University of Wisconsin states that prices of goods purchased by an American family have increased 8.2% from April of 2021 till April 2022, the most significant 12-month increase in the past 40 years. Inflation is not a short-term issue, but policymakers could move forward by considering different strategies, such as removing tariffs and unnecessary regulations, and fixing the child care crisis. Child care is essential because there is a declining labor force. Most older individuals and women who have exited to care for their families, hence it is crucial to improve the child care structure to boost labor supply and ease inflation. The Federal Reserve wields in the USA's monetary policy toolbox. If inflation increases by 2%, the Fed can increase interest rates. High interest rates means that loans become more expensive, fewer people and companies will end up borrowing them for business expansions, mortgages, etc. This effect could lead to the cooling of demand for products and services, leading to lower prices. Lowering the demand is risky for the Fed, since that would lead to fewer jobs, which could spiral the economy into recession. The goal of a Fed policy is to reach a stage of neutral interest rates, which is a rate that supports full employment and stable prices. Higher interest rates will also cool down the auto and real estate industry, since it will lower demand. Moving on to the critical question, what is causing inflation? Basic economics tell us that less supply coupled with greater demands leads to higher prices. During the pandemic, consumer preferences changed, meaning people no longer spent money on their hair salons but bought food and tools for DIY projects. It led to supply failing to keep up with the demand and increasing prices. One of the strategies to reduce inflation is to lower wage growth, which will reduce costs for firms and increase demand. We will also make use of the monetarism by controlling the money supply. It involves policies such as higher interest rates and produce budget deficits. These are the sites that I used for my project. If you'd like to visit any of them, they also go into more depth about the topic of inflation and different aspects of it. Thank you. And again, my name is Demiana, and I presented the topic of inflation.